Hey guys, I'm back here with my Jeep. This time what's going on is on this side, on the passenger side, air is blowing just fine, hot, cold, whatever, it doesn't matter. That side's working, but this side is not working at all. It's just blowing cold air all the time. So what's happened is the blend doors inside have broken. So what I'm going to be showing you is how to take out the whole dashboard out and get the blend doors replaced. If you ever do this, it's also good to replace the evaporator core for the AC system and the heater core for the heating system, because you don't want to be doing this stuff twice. So if you're going to be doing this, just replace everything. That way you don't have to worry about it. But anyways, let's get started. Before you get started, you'll want to take off the negative battery terminal, and you will want to take the car into a shop and get the AC system discharged. If you want to know if you have anything in here, you can just use a screwdriver and just tap the little pin in there, and if anything comes out, if there's any pressure in there, take it to a shop and get it discharged. It's illegal to discharge it yourself. Alright, to get started, here's some of the stuff you're gonna need. A screwdriver set. Really, the only screwdriver that you need is a good Phillips. It's just good to have a few available. A few different sizes. There's 2 screwdriver sets. Maybe a knife. Pliers are always handy. A pry bar. And a good ratchet set with both normal bits and deep bits. And then obviously the parts that you're replacing. So I'm going to be replacing these 2 blend doors. As I mentioned before, you may also want to replace the evaporator core and the heater core. And I'll have links on the description for all these items, so you can just purchase everything and get right to work. To get started, first off you have to remove these panels, or these covers. Basically you just pull them down. You also want to remove these at the bottom here. And that one also just pulls up. Do the same thing on the driver's side. Next, you want to remove this top panel. So sometimes you can just lift it up and it'll come right off. You may have to use a screwdriver or something to pry it out, but then you just run your hand up along it and it should come out. You want to remove these 4 washer bolts. So there's one here, one there, and one right there. And for that you'll need probably an extender and a deep 10mm socket. Just take those out. Those 4 nuts removed. We need to take out this. So there's 1, 2, 3 Phillips screws there. And then you may have a Torx down there. Over here on the driver's side, you've got 1, 2, 3 Phillips. So take those out. If you have those screws out, you can just get your hand in here and just pry that out. Now that that you have this bottom part out, if you see these clips, these metal clips on there, go ahead and remove those. You can just squeeze here and get those out, and put those back on the bottom plate. Just line those up and then put them back on here. It's just much easier to have it this way when you're putting everything back together. Take out the center console. So take out this cover. You're gonna see 2 Phillips screws here. Take those out, and then if you get a flathead screwdriver, put it in here and lift this up. You're gonna see 2 more there, and then you're gonna see 2 more back here. So get all those taken out all those screws. You can lift this up, put that aside, and then you can use this to hold all your screws. Take this out. You're gonna have more screws here. Should have one here, here, and one over here. And then you might have a couple back here. I think mine were lost. So get those screws out. After you've removed all the screws here, go ahead and put your keys in the ignition. Turn the keys. Pull this back all the way. And then you can lift it from the back forward, and it should just come out. You can set that aside. Now to continue with the center console, turn your keys, and then you can set this back to park and 4-wheel all the time. You may want to take this off just so it's not in the way. And you can turn your keys, take those out. Next you want to take out this. Just pull this red clip and take this out. This is for your airbags so they don't blow up in your face. And then there's a couple of nuts here that you're gonna have to take off, and also this little black clip over here. You may have to use a screwdriver on this one to get it off. And then you'll want to take out this other wire. You take off those 2 wires there, those grounding wires. Those, by the way, are 13mm bolts that you have to take off. Unplug this. This connector over here might be a little difficult to take out. There's just this clip at the bottom that you have to press down. Next, you want to trace this harness, and you're going to see these little plastic things. You can just pull those out or use a screwdriver to pry it out and get that harness out of the way. Next you want to take these bolts off. So these are 13mm. You have to use a deep socket, and then you'll want to take these 2 off. These are 10mm. So these 2 on the side, they're 13, and these 2 on the actual dashboard, and those are 10mm. After you've done that, you can take this metal piece out. Next we'll want to take out the glove box. So for that, there's going to be 4 screws over here. There's one back there, one there, one there, and one there. Or actually there's gonna be 5. There's one also right there. So take those out, they're all Phillips. There's also one more over here on the side, so take that one out also. So you've got all 6 of those screws removed. Set those aside and then pry this out. That's just being held down by that clip. And then pry this other end out also. And that one is also being held down by clips on the side there. We actually need to take out the glove box. So if you look under here, there is these little plastic clips right there. So if you pull down and out at the same time, you should be able to get those released from under there. So there's one of them, and the other one's right there. So get those 2 released. The glove box should come out like so. And then you can take it out by unclipping this side first. The middle side is clipped from the underside, so you want to unclip this side also. And then maybe get a screwdriver in here and push that middle one back so it unlatches, and then you can take out the glove box like so. Next over here, we need to take out a couple of bolts. There's one right here. There's one over here on the side. There's one up here that you can't see because of the shadows. And there's one down here, and they're all 10mm bolts. So get those 4 taken out. Those 4 bolts removed. The next thing you need to do is look down here, and you have these 2 wire harnesses. You need to take those out and unplug this coaxial cable. This just goes to the antenna. So unplug that one. Take these 2 out. And then if you look under here, there's these 2 other connectors that you need to unplug. The last thing on this side is up here. You need to get your pry bar and stick it all the way up here at the top. And if you can see down there, there is there's a small latch that you have to get there. And to do that, you just stick your pry bar in and you pull up so that it pulls down on that side, and that will unlatch that clip. Latch down like this, so you're pushing it down to unlatch it and then pull up. So put your pry bar in there, push down so it pushes that clip down, and as you're doing that, pull on the dashboard so you can take it out, and then you'll notice that it's going to come loose. And then we need to take out the driver's side. Okay, to start off on the driver's side, reach down here, stick your finger in here, or if your fingers are too big, use a screwdriver and just pry this out. Take that cover out. Next, there's 4 Phillips screws here. One right here, one right there, one right there, and one right there. So take those out. You've taken all those 4 screws out. Set those aside. And then push at the bottom here so that the top goes down. Push on the bottom, and this should start leaning down, and then you can pull it out. And then there's going to be this connector at the back. So there's a little clip there. Just push down on it and unplug that, and then you can take your instrument panel off. The next thing is we need to take out this cover. So there's this Phillips screw over here, and there's two 10mm bolts down here. There's one right here, and there's one right there. So get that out. You have those out. Set those aside. Now this is the part where you probably want to start keeping track of your bolts. So as you can see there, these are Sharpied blue along with the actual place where they're supposed to go. So if you can't keep track of them, either use Ziploc bags or use a Sharpie to label them. After that's done, put your hand here and pry this out. And set that aside. For that, the next thing you want to do is take off this metal piece, and that's being held down by this 10mm bolt, this 10mm bolt, and then there's two more on the other side on the same spot. One right there, and one right there. So we get all those four taken out. After you have all those four bolts removed, and this, set all that aside. Next thing you want to do is take off this housing, steering wheel housing. There's a Phillips screw in here. It's pretty long and it's kind of difficult to get to sometimes, so be patient. You'll get it eventually. So just take that out. Screw. After you've taken that out, just put your fingers right here and pull up. You'll hear the clips unsnap, and then just go around. That should fall off. So you want to undo all these harnesses, all these wire harnesses under the steering wheel. For some of these you may have to use a screwdriver and push those clips in and get those out. So there's that one right there. There's these up here. And notice how some of them are kind of different. This one has a clip right here. This one has a clip right here. And this one over here has a clip under it that you push down with your fingers, take out. This one has a clip on top. And this one over here is the same as that yellow one. It has a clip on the side. And this big one has a clip here. Okay, after you've got that out, the one difficult one is right here. This one that goes up to the ignition. So for that one, you need to put your keys in. Before you do this, make sure the steering is straight, your wheels are straight. Then turn your keys, and then down here there's a clip on top. You can press down and that should just come out, as long as you have your keys in there. After that, you'll want to turn your keys back and lock it so that you don't mess up the steering wheel later on. The next one that you want to take out is the one for the steering column. For that one, it's a 13mm socket. And that one should be, as long as you straightened out your tires, if you just follow the steering column down, it's going to be right there. That one with the red tip. Now this one can be a little difficult at first. Sometimes it's in there pretty tightly. It should be in there. That's the only thing that's holding you and the steering wheels to the tire. So get that one out. So there's that bolt. Just make sure you keep that one safe. Set that one aside for now. Next, we'll want to take out the steering column, and to do that, there's these 4 nuts that are holding it together. There's 2 up here, and there's 2 back there. Right here and right here. These are supposed to be 10 millimeters, except for mine are stripped, so if you have to, use pliers. Okay, after you have those 4 bolts out, should be able to just take out the steering column. You may want to have someone help you out with this part as far as taking out those bolts. So you should be able to just take that out, and then be careful not to damage anything back there. Just pull it out. Pull out the steering column. Set that aside. For this next one, you're going to have to need an extender. If you have this other little one, also use it. And then a deep 13 millimeter socket. And basically you reach down here. See where this second nut was to hold the steering column? There's this little metal thing here. And if we go under, I can show you. Right up there, right there, there's a 13 millimeter bolt that you need to take out. We'll get that on there, and then you should be able to get that taken out. That 13 millimeter bolt that you just removed from under there. Set this one aside. This one's very important. Next thing you want to do is take off these wire harnesses. So these are 10 millimeter bolts. Just get these taking those 2 harnesses off, and these 2 connectors. This one's the more difficult one. There's a clip that you have to press in. I ended up just breaking mine because it doesn't really matter. Next thing you'll want to do is take these 2 bolts off. Those are 10 millimeters also. Get those 2 out. I want to take out these other bolts on the side. There's this one right here, and then if you look down there, there's one right there. You're going to have to use your extenders for these 2. And then there is one right here on the side that's holding down this little seat belt. And there's these 2 at the bottom that need to be taken out also. So get those all removed. You have taken off all those screws. The next thing is to take off this. There's a Phillips screwdriver or a screw that's over there. However, if you don't really care, you can just break that off like I did. It's just sitting there. Next thing before you take out the dashboard is these little clips. See these vents? There's these 2 vents at the top. You just need to make sure those clips are unclipped from those vents, and then you should be able to lift up the dashboard, as you can see there. And basically you want to lift it up from that side, and the easiest way is to just take it out here and just hang it out the driver's side door. Let me do that and I'll show you. This is the easiest way, just hang it out halfway here, and then you have full access to the HVAC unit over there. Now to remove the HVAC unit, you want to disconnect these hoses first. Just pull that one up and disconnect it from the HVAC. And do the same thing over here on this side. Remove those two hoses down there. Pull up the carpet and you're gonna see two bolts. One right there, right where it starts to go up, and then one right here under these harnesses. So you'll want to get both of those out. Those are just 10mm bolts. After you've got those two nuts removed, you need to go under the hood. And the first thing we need to do is take off this reservoir, coolant reservoir. So there's two Phillips screws here, one right here, one right there. After you've done that, you can disconnect this. Just push on the clip here, get that disconnected. And then you can lift up coolant reservoir and just set it aside over here. While you've got it over there, go over here and unclip these two hoses from this plastic clip. From that clip, just get those off. And then we need to remove this unit. It's being held down by a 10mm bolt and a 10mm you've removed nut those right two here. Bolts. Lift this out. And just set that aside. You want to disconnect all these harnesses. And this switch for the AC, as well as this other harness here. And to get these two nuts that are holding this other assembly, and disconnect all those wire harnesses. Those harnesses and got those nuts off. Go down here, and there is this one 10mm. You've taken that you have to get off. Nut out. Go back up here and lift this out. And just set that aside. And next you'll want to get these two hoses off. These are both 13mm nuts that you need to get off. You've taken those off. If you look right in the middle of the screen, there's a 10mm bolt that needs to be removed. Use your ratchet with an extender. Just work your way through the back there and get that bolt removed. That last bolt, it is pretty long, so it will take a while to get out. Set that aside. And then the last thing is you need to get the heater core hoses off. If you have these clamps, you can get them off probably from this side. If you don't, then you have to do it from the other side. And to do it from this side, you should be able to pull the HVAC unit out now. Just lift it up a little bit and you should be able to pull it up. However, I'm going to remove the hoses from the other end because it's easier for me. If you have to, do it
you
from this
remove
side.
the two hoses, as you can see here. Got mine removed. Those two over there. You will have some coolant leak down, so it's better if you can do it from under the hood. But if you can't, you will have to be ready over here to catch whatever falls out. After you've done that, you can go ahead and pull the HVAC up and out. Remove these 3 foam pads. One that goes here, one that goes around the heater core, and the one that goes over the AC evaporator. And then just go around the edge and take off all the Phillips screws around the edge. This main door, there's just 2 screws right here you need to take off, and then the 2 clips on the back. Unlatch those and then disconnect this controller. There's going to be 2 more Phillips screws there. Okay, I ran out of battery here on my other phone, so this might be lower quality, but here's the blend door that was failing. As you can see here, when I turn this, it doesn't turn the door like this one does. So that's why the air was just pulled over here, because the air was just being pushed through here, going through this, and then just getting through straight to the vents instead of this opening up to let more air through. Anyways, that is pretty much it. Here's the evaporator core. Over there is the heater core that just slides in here. So basically we just need to put everything back together. If you need help with that, just go through the video again and watch it backwards. And that's it. I hope that helps someone out. If you do this repair yourself, you pretty much save yourself between $500 and $1,000. So it's not difficult, it just takes time. Anyways, I hope that helps someone out. If you found that helpful or informative, remember to like, comment, favorite, or share the video so other people can get a chance to view it. Thanks for watching.